This is Mongolian Mindset, and today I got Thomas and Zara with us. And today we're gonna be looking at one of my mistypes, man. We're gonna be looking at Sadia Khan. There's been a lot of news come out with her. It's fucking wow. This is just complete fucking nightmare. I'm gonna let Thomas and Zara talk about some of it here, but basically, this woman has essentially faked master's degrees. This woman has faked every degree she has. She put these shit on websites. It's come out that she doesn't have the TE guy. She doesn't have the TE. Thomas, Zara, what you guys want to say?
Um, yeah, there's some wild developments with her, say the least.
A great way to put it.
Yeah. And well, I mean, if there is a crazy train down to hell, she's going by really fast. Yeah. I mean, it started because of this guy Goob on Instagram. He noticed that she put a filter on her waist at first, and then she started attacking him. And then he dug up recordings of her um having an affair with some married guy, and the drama, and it escalated from there. I don't want to get into the graphic shit. Um Yeah, so anyhow, it precipitated and then it grew into, oh, she faked her degrees, then she has no credentials, and she called herself a psychologist, and she's speaking about things has no credibility in, and it really backfired on her, and I think she made it worse because she went after that guy's girlfriend,
Mhm.
and that and she's and I'm guessing the guy's either like an ESTJ or an ENFP. Um, Kind of makes sense. Yeah, don't mess with those guys. Anyhow,
Yeah. I'm not sure she is aware, but to call yourself a psychologist, you do need a doctorate. So
But
that's
yeah,
these are
crazy.
these are things that, like, people have, like, a lot of this shit. People have been speculating or accusing her for a long time. Like, for pretty much since the beginning, people have been questioning her credibility. They've been questioning whether she's a real psychologist, questioning how much money she charges. Like, what was, like, $8,000 an
yeah,
hour.
8,000. Yeah,
Um,
Hmm.
you know, and questioning, like, her using filters, like, on her content. Sometimes she looks a lot better than she does other times. Um, and also, shit, what was something I noticed is, like, on her YouTube channel, like on her Instagram, I noticed, like, if somebody comments like something negative or something she doesn't like she attacks them, like,
yeah.
either her or her team. But even if it's your team, you're still responsible for it. And I to me, I'm like, this doesn't, like, kind of add up. Like, if she's an ENFJ, I couldn't see an ENFJ attacking people the way that she's attacking people.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
like
pretty
this. I'm like,
vicious.
oh no, for real. Like, yeah, like, she'll call you a bitch, like, call you whatever. Like, she, like,
Yeah,
really hit you below the belt. I'm like, this is
yeah.
something's off here.
She rips into people, like, call them like fat cucks, and I've
Yeah,
heard just crazy shit.
and
She'll
I
put
mean, you're claiming to be a psychologist, like, you have some kind of, like, responsibility in terms of how you conduct yourself.
conduct yourself. Yeah, no
Um,
decorum.
like, even if you're a content creator, yeah, well, you still have, like, some kind of, you should have integrity, or in terms of how you conduct yourself, and she clearly doesn't.
Well, I
No.
think when you're talking about it, I think it just shows that she really didn't get those degrees and all that. Because a person who got all those degrees will be a lot less. I wouldn't say all the time, but they would be a lot less like that because they don't want to lose what they put in.
Oh yeah, if you put in the work,
You
yeah.
put in like 12 years, if not more, depending on, how long it takes you to get your doctorates, and then, the work after that. But yeah, I don't think you'd be doing that. You'd be in protect mode, preservation mode, right? You wouldn't just be willing to just throw that shit away. So that just kind of gives you an alibi that probably don't have those degrees. But guys, we're gonna be looking at her using interaction styles today. We have all these broken down on the channel. Um, and if you want to recommend somebody for us to type, you have to join our Discord and boost the server. We do also have our Demigod Dojo where we have from the easiest material to the hardest material. And you can interact with us and can speed up your journey to understanding this stuff. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how the hell I ended up with ENFJ guys, but it fucking happens, ladies and gentlemen. It fucking happens.
Mm.
So personality database got his ENFJ. It's fucking wacko jacko.
Dummy base.
They got an INFJ second. So yeah. So the board here, ENFJs are like your least, one of the least abstract types. The ENFJ and ENTJ. So you have direct, you have initiating, you have outcome, you have affiliative, you have motive, and
Hmm.
abstract. You have TIFE and SENI. I I think what was fucking me was that she's hammers on motive so much, you know.
I was gonna say that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably what fucked me was that motive and then her trying to have
Yeah.
the perfect princess. So motive affiliative probably led me to it. But hey, you know what? People will reveal themselves if you give them enough time. So we're gonna watch a little bit of this, like maybe 3 minutes, and then we'll go.
Everywhere from my understanding.
Okay, so it's got my team's number on there. And I just don't know how to make it go away. But is there a way that we can avoid talking about the screenshots altogether? Because that's the number that you get when you...
I interviewed Sadia Khan.
Oh, snap.
That's right. If you guys don't know who she is, she's a self-proclaimed licensed psychologist who offers people counseling and relationship advice and therapy. She was recently outed, turning out to be a side chick to some rich dude in Dubai, which she vehemently denies. I had the chance to interview her, and what you need to know is that she's a pathological liar. I already knew this lady was a fraud from my deep research. Here are the fast facts. Fact number one, is she a psychologist? Absolutely not. She's not licensed anywhere, has not been. Fact number two, she lies about her education. I went to her LinkedIn, she's got things noted, she's mentioned them to me personally. But after I did some digging, I found out that this girl has a bunch of Photoshop degrees that she just carries around and posts places online. Fact number three, she claims that a lot of this stuff was doctored in regards to her being a side chick, the screenshots of the text messages.
There's a screenshot's completely fake.
What are you going to do about it? I'll suck his dick if you have an attitude.
What I can tell you is that I happen to have access to some screenshots that are not public. And when I showed her, she looked a little distraught. So these screenshots are not everywhere from my understanding. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on there. And who's that from?
And when I showed her, she looked a little distraught. She looked a little scared. And I said, you have nothing to be scared about. I appreciate your sucking skills. And these text messages are great.
You did not say that.
I sure did. Now, fact number four, despite claiming to be a psychologist, she does go and harass people and flames them in the most disgusting way. The way I set up this interview is first, I just get her to lay out her facts. I didn't accuse her of nothing. I didn't say anything. I'm like, a lot of people say some of these degrees are fake. Tell me. I know some of her facts are not true, but I wanted her to be able to say it so that if I confront them afterwards, I'd be like, well, this is what you just said 5 minutes ago. Can you explain this?
Thank you for taking the time to speak. I can't actually say anything because unfortunately in Dubai, they're so strict with everything. If you say anything, just I'm going to send you the PowerPoint so you can understand.
PowerPoint?
And because it's like not properly. But so just allegation by allegation, just so you...
So the voice message is what is like, is it fake? It's not you, it's AI generated. I don't know. So now we move on to the cheater infidelity allegations. The one where she's a side piece. Who else has a side chick on this level? Gives them no stress. Told you I'm such a side chick.
No way. No way.
What are you going to do about it? I'll suck his dick if you have an attitude. And I can do it today if I want to.
Go on.
And I can do it on your wedding day and your birthday.
Okay, well,
and the
we'll
days
see.
after.
If I want to.
If he's been with you in a social setting, he'll call me after.
And then I ask her specifically about the voice message where she talks about sucking dick very aggressively.
screenshots and everything. We've actually traced it from Dubai police. They were able to give us the names. I worked with a particular person in 2021. I was in a relationship, but he was really, really into me. He used to always call me, always be like this. He was in a relationship as well. He was like a bit obsessed with me or whatever, but he wasn't in one relationship. He was in like 5, 6 different girls. He's a player like in Dubai, successful, those kind of people. And one girl called me and she was just like, oh, by the way, are you talking to this person? And I was just like, what are you talking about? No, I do not talk to him. And who are you to call me and ask him?
Progression and informative.
Like the whole, no, I don't have a memory of this conversation. I only did it when I started digging.
So she doesn't have a memory of this conversation.
But let me tell you more about it.
And mind you, this happened in 2021.
And I said, I don't touch your man. And this is my nature, right? This is honestly my nature. If I wanted to, I could suck his dick on your wedding day. If I wanted to, I could have your man. He's called me when he's in social situations saying, oh, you're so boring without you, blah, blah, this, that, and the other. So I was saying, if I wanted to, I could do all of this.
But so just to be clear, in 2021, you didn't have a relationship.
Hypothetical. Yeah.
She's saying the center of excellence but they can't. Always a victim. And she says she has an anger problem and all this other stuff. Like, ma'am, you're a therapist. You can't afford therapy.
All the connects, all the contacts to do something about that, my girl.
And I'll have you know, after this call was done, she went right back to shitting on people nonstop.
I wasn't doing psychology. 100% I would be a drug dealer. There is no other job role on this planet that suits my personality more, because I am so fearless. I have a very poor work ethic. I am unprofessional, and I don't respect the law.
Yes. Good.
Yes, we know.
Yes.
Come out the closet.
Hey, the first thing you said that was actually
Pragmatic.
There's no way, ENFJ.
Yeah, but bro, look now go back there and give me some grace here, because look at this shit. We got a motherfucker talking about.
I get it. I'm not saying that she doesn't put a good mask on. I didn't say that.
Saying that shit in these videos.
I
Sex
know.
work, pornography, and OnlyFans. And so she pulled some strings, managed to get it banned. I also pulled some strings, managed to get back on. But I'm sure with my big mouth, I'll get myself in trouble soon. So I'm going to make a vow, and I'm glad you're here to witness it, that I'm going to try and stay out of trouble, because I don't want to lose my Instagram. It's actually a really great platform.
Okay, well, we'll see how you get on after today.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I've noticed recently is this sort of widespread belief that love is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you think these sort of modern representations of female stories are so devoid of love? You know, looking at the Barbie movie, there's these previews of the Snow White movie coming up. Rachel Ziegler doesn't really look like she's pro-love. What do you think's going on?
Well, I think the demise of marriage and long-term relationships, what that means is with relationships, a bit like when you watch a movie and the whole movie can be great, but if the ending is shit, we'll say movies are shit. That movie was awful. Similarly, if the ending is fantastic, you'll say that whole movie was great. Usually the people pushing this narrative have just come out of a negative relationship. So they define the entire course of love and the entire...
I ended up calling that interest right there. Because that definitely...
A lot of if this then that, if this then that.
Yeah, TI.
I think we did well noticing that she was TIFE.
Yeah,
because she doesn't really.
It seems like she projects her child function.
She's not really regurgitating any information from another source. Like you can't.
Not at all. No.
Especially if this was an ISTJ. I've heard someone say that maybe she's ISTJ, and I'm like. You would not be able to catch an ISTJ faking that type of material.
They would have the actual credentials.
Yeah. They wouldn't be talking about being a fucking drug lord. Okay. There's a special type that does that.
Course of relationships by their particular ending, and if the ending was terrible, love is terrible, and they label it like that. And they also like to run with the narrative that my ex is a narcissist. It's their favorite phrase on the planet at the moment. What that does is kind of devoid us of the responsibility in causing that toxicity, blame it on someone else, and then blame love as a separate entity as a cause for our pain, when really it's our behaviors. So the love isn't toxic, it's how we behave in love and how we behave when vulnerable that creates toxicity. But it's easier to just say that love is this really dangerous emotion and we should avoid it at all costs and always keep our armor up just in case love comes at us and kills us, when really it's our poor decision making or our behaviors that cause love to be toxic.
Yeah, it's strange to
Even talking about poor decision making and shit like that. But she had a very good old con up. I'm not even gonna lie. She had a pretty good con up.
me that it appears to be like a top-down narrative as well. It's not just individuals rejecting love; it's also in movies, it's in culture as well.
Yeah, and I do think there is there is a lot to be gained from convincing people that love is toxic and you don't need it, because independence breeds more customers, whether it's on social media, whether it's on porn sites, whether it's on cosmetic surgery. Independence creates customers.
So bitch be talking about interest, man.
It seems like interest, like, oh, there's a lot to be gained, you know.
Think that it makes
what
total
people get
sense
out of
from a
it.
marketing.
Yeah.
It's almost like T critic, but it's because she's basically saying the system is incentivized to do this.
Yeah.
And they want this to happen.
True.
Yeah, I think what's really going on is that NE in itself can, especially for the people that have it in the hero function, it can come off a lot more interest because of the simple fact that like they are hyper aware of what other people really want, right?
I'm seeing more rejection of the system.
They're hyper aware of like, what's possible out there. And they know, oh, this person kind of wants this, and then that person kind of, and that's why they're really good salespeople, right? While like you put like maybe any parent there, they kind of struggle with that. But yeah, it's kind of fun to just see just the difference in power. But I think, yeah, especially, I mean, if you think about it, a lot of your grifters or like the people that like take advantage of people usually end up being somewhat to a degree, hate to say it, any doms. So
yeah,
like I said, they're very good at picking up, even though ENTP may be systematic, they really flirt the lines of interest because of the simple fact of NE. Like they're hyper aware of, okay, I could do this. That's why the best con men of all time is ENTP. They're the best. They've been conning people since, if you heard of a con man in history, that motherfucker is most likely ENTP.
I mean, Edison's the same person that electrocuted elephants to prove that that AC was bad.
That's random.
That's a random fact. But
yeah, but
I'm talking about like
he's kind of known as an ENTP. That's why I brought it up.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like the con man that you see. I forget the one guy who conned one of the big mob bosses. I forget, maybe it was in Robert Greene's book. I forget the guy's name. Maybe somebody in comments will drop it. But yeah, that guy was an ENTP, and he was like the what he did was he asked to borrow $10,000 from the guy, right? From the mob boss, right? And he knew that he told the mob boss that he would double his money, right? And when what he did, he took the 10,000 from who was the mob boss in the 1960s or something, the big guy. I can't remember his fucking
Well,
name.
there's probably a few of them. Like the Italian mob.
Yeah. I forget what his name in Chicago.
Chicago.
I can't forget it.
I don't know, Giancana. I don't fucking know.
Yeah, some I don't know, whatever. So he let the guy borrow the money, right? And what he did with the money was he just let that bitch sit, and then right when it was time for him to have doubled the person's money, he took the money back to the mob boss. And the mob boss was like, "Oh shit, you got all of my money. You may have not doubled it, but you didn't lose my money." So he was anticipating that this guy would go and lose his money because that's usually what people do. So he noticed that, damn, I still got all of the money that I gave you. Here is some of it. And that's what he was after. The con here was that he knew that most people will go and lose your money. So then you have to kill them. But if I bring you back your money, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Well, here is some of the money of it. Man, have a good day. And that's what he was after the whole time. It's a fucking genius, fucking, ENTP shit, man. But yeah.
I don't know if it was Giancana, but I pulled it up, and Giancana was the mob boss from 57 to 66 in Chicago. So, but I don't know if I don't remember the story that you're referencing, but Just putting that out there.
Yeah, I think it's, let me see, 1940, maybe 19. What's the big one that everybody talks about?
Well, Al Capone was like
Al Capone, that's who it was. Al fucking Capone.
that's like the Prohibition era though. That's like the 30s, I think.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Robert Greene's
it's prohibition.
prohibition.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, yeah, it's
And
much earlier.
then he got syphilis and he fucking died. But
Yeah, probably fucking his brains out. But but the story behind it was like, usually when you let people borrow money and somebody tell you that you're gonna triple your money, you anticipating that they're gonna lose all of your fucking money. So when you get your exact money back, you're like, what the fuck? And it kind of tripped him up on a psychological perspective, and he ended up giving the fucking con man some of that money. So, and that's what the con man was after, right? He wasn't after the 10,000. He just wanted that's just easy money for him.
uh-huh.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Perspective to just breathe the idea that love is no longer necessary. I saw a lot of interviews from the star of Snow White where she was almost making digs at what is actually quite a sweet fairy tale, but trying to make it into digs. And I just thought, I'm guessing the narrative of seeing love as weak is being propagated in the culture today. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a quote from that interview. She's not going to be saved by the prince. She's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be. The prince in the original movie stalked her.
Why would you sign up to a film if that's what you believe it was the message behind it? I'm guessing because here's what they're taking is, I'm not saying Disney movies were great for our perception of love either, but the idea of mocking connection and let's say, for example, somebody does save you and you're in a bad position, but they do save you. Why is that so negative? If somebody's going through something and you find a partner and they help you heal and you both help each other heal, why is that a negative thing? I mean, I maybe I've got it wrong, but the narrative I'm getting is it's almost seen as embarrassing to fall in love when really it's an essential component of our life. We all need it.
It seems to me the advice for men suggests that falling in love makes you irrational and weak.
Mm-hmm.
And for women, it makes you subservient and dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And it's almost the opposite of what both sexes want to have, right? There's a trend of wanting women to have their own independence at the moment, like more power to them. And there's a trend of wanting men to be able to stand up for themselves more.
Mm-hmm.
And love is being positioned as the antithesis of the thing that you're trying to get.
Yeah. Well, love is seen as suffering. And here's the thing. There's a big difference between pain and suffering. Like pain is just things that happen in our life. Like let's say the person you love passes away or you can't have a baby. That's pain. But suffering is the emotional consequences of our poor decision making. Now, if you feel like love,
I wonder if she can't have a baby. Maybe that's the reason why she's saying that. I'm keying in on that. Maybe she
possible.
Yeah,
I mean,
think maybe she can't have a baby.
She's in her 30s, mid to late 30s, hasn't had children,
Maybe there's something there. Yeah.
Love is suffering for you. Have a look at your decision making. If you're becoming weak, but if you choose wisely, you won't see it as being weak. You'll see it as being compatible, and you'll see it as being compromising. But if you're becoming subservient, if you choose the right person, you won't see it as a form of abuse. But if you're making poor decisions, of course, love is going to be a form of suffering. But suffering is a reminder that you made wrong choices.
Yeah, I was watching this.
Talking about suffering, most suffering.
I learned something the other day is you cannot look at an outcome and decide from the outcome if someone made good or bad choices, because it's called outcome bias. So what really happens is you have to actually look at the actual information that they actually had at the time to be able to conform, was it a good or right choice?
That's true.
So it's actually a fallacy. If you
That's true. I can see that.
I learned that the other day and I was like, oh shit, yeah, that is true. Like, damn, you really have to go back to the actual information and see if the actual information that they had, that they used at that period of time, was good or bad, not the outcome.
I've definitely made bad decisions because I didn't have the right information.
Yeah, but at the time you made the best decision, and a lot of times you can make great decisions, but in weird times it leads to bad outcomes. So
yeah,
that's just food.
Well, you only could do the best. You only can do the most with the information you have. So And you only could pick the best viable option from that.
And so like that outcome is called outcome bias. It's funny.
Baggage
But
claim
she was
video earlier on. She's
she was doing talk. She was. I feel like she was talking a lot about consequences and also kept on referencing suffering.
Yeah.
And we know certain types like to talk about suffering a lot.
Yeah.
And consequences.
Yeah,
So,
and then N is the consequential awareness portion.
Yeah. Well, they'll talk about it, but
yeah.
Let's not talk about what they do.
Right. And she talks about this sort of common anti-love trend among, she calls it feminists, a general disinterest in emotional connection with men. This is the sort of plague that she thinks going on at the moment.
I agree, and I think it's found, just to kind of even out the playing field, it's also found amongst the red pill men. And like we spoke about before, when you feel like you can't access something, the best and quickest way to defend your ego is to pretend you don't want it. So when you feel like you're not worthy of love, and which I really think is a manifestation of low self-esteem, when you feel like you're not worthy of love, the quickest and easiest way to feel worthy is to pretend love is terrible, pretend love is toxic. And I see this a lot in red pill men and really high, like a proud feminist. Both cohorts tend to be people who personally probably believe that they're not desirable to the opposite gender. So the only way to get rid of that feeling of like being undesired is to pretend you don't desire the opposite gender. So I see it both, and they're almost a perfect match for each other. That blue-haired, feminist and that red pill guy, they're almost a perfect match because they both almost have the same pathologies when it comes to their understanding of love. So they should get together. Yeah.
That would be a very interesting relationship to observe. Yeah, I am.
See, that's why I actually like her stuff, because she says things that you don't hear other people say. Like, I've never heard someone say red pill people should get with fucking the raging feminists, but it's kind of funny, maybe
a lot of them do. It's kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah, those guys are most attracted to those girls. Yeah, they
the raging
kind of
feminists?
funny. Yeah.
I thought they'd be more.
They like the blue-haired ones. I don't know. They like the alt girls typically.
That's crazy. I've never seen that shit, but yeah, that sounds like maybe she's talking about patterns there. She's looking at the patterns between the both and then coming to a conclusion.
There's something to it.
So SI, NE guys, and we've already said this one's TIFE, right? She's not regurgitating information that you heard from a book or a study or all this stuff. She's just using her own shit here. So we feel pretty good with TIFE, NE, SI. Okay.
This idea called the inner citadel that people.
Let's go ahead and get rid of those stuff. All right. Slow it down, guys. I don't want to be coming back in on this fucking bitch. So TIFE is there. We feel pretty good about that. And we feel pretty good that she's pattern recognition whore.
Yeah.
So with that being said, that pretty much only leaves you with SFJs and NTPs. So we can clear that. We can clear that. And the bitch is pragmatic. Clearly talking about she should have been a drug lord. I mean, I've never heard a woman say that out of her mouth, which is insane. That is insane for a woman to say out of her mouth. Holy shit.
Yeah.
You never hear a woman say some shit like that. They should have been a drug
I haven't.
lord.
She's the first.
I've heard somebody else tell me that they were meant to be a criminal. I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard.
Who, like a woman?
No.
Not a woman.
I've heard.
Okay.
I've heard my brother tell me that when he was a kid. Swear to God, I've heard him tell me that.
Okay, but I've never heard a woman say it though.
Hey, I'm saying woman. I'm not woman, but I'm saying like I've heard.
Yeah.
Retreat into if you can't get what you want, you must teach yourself to want what you can get.
Right.
And that's kind of what you're describing.
Yeah.
If I tell myself that all women are awful, then it doesn't force me to try and get into a relationship, and therefore I don't need to feel the pain of heartbreak.
Exactly.
If I tell myself that jobs are completely pointless, then I can sit in unemployment and not be concerned about not making progress toward my goals.
Exactly. But the problem with that is it prevents you from fulfilling your potential in life. Human beings are designed with the potential to...
Talk about potential, any...
love and nurture one another. And whenever we cap our potential, whether that's through we cap our potential physically, emotionally, psychologically, anything that involves capping our potential will lead to a slow and steady depression that will signal to yourself that you're not fulfilling your potential, and it will.
I think she's talking about her own hero.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, she's talking about if you don't try to live up to your ultimate potential, then you're slowly drifting towards depression.
Yeah, but potential.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of her type doesn't match up to the potential that they have, so they slowly shift into depression. And I always said that when you're young, you have unlimited potential, but as you get older, your potential slowly dies, and I think that kind of hurts.
Wears on ENTPs.
Yeah,
probably.
Because, as they keep going in life, they have kids, they get all this other shit, their potential slowly dying because they can't do all the stuff they once could do or what they could do, right? Because they want to, like Henry said in the video, I want to DJ at here, then go to a fucking beautiful date with a woman here, and I want to do this and this and this. But when you start getting all those obligations, it's slowly killing that potential, slowly killing what you could do.
That's why they hate SI.
Yeah.
Come out and manifest as a form of depression. So when you kind of ward off love, you're warding off your own full potential, and therefore you will see an increase in your depression and anxiety. They even find studies where women, when they hold their partner's hand during labor, they experience less pain. That's how much we're designed to be in love. It's actually a pain relief. It's an anti-anxiety. They found loads of studies where they see people that, sleep.
All right, so we get some tea here.
Lots of people in a communion, they sleep better.
Yep.
They don't have any micro awakenings in the night. So our body craves it. Whether you psychologically convince yourself you don't want it, your body will still speak to you and tell you that you need it. So unfortunately, it doesn't work.
The micro awakenings thing is really interesting. I remember learning it from Johan Hari, that it's basically it's like a measure of comfort that people have in safety, right? Yeah. So 15,000 years ago, you have gone out hunting and you decide to sleep in a cave that is away from where you usually would. Yeah. It's adaptive for you as this nomadic person away from home to not go into quite as deep sleep because you can't be quite as assured that this particular location is safe. It's one of the reasons why people get such bad night's sleep in hotels.
Yeah.
Because even if the room is quiet and it's dark and there's no LED blinking and room service doesn't come and accidentally knock on your door, it's still not your house. And we have this inbuilt micro awakening where you just come back up the threshold of consciousness and then dip back in again.
Yeah.
Two things that are interesting. If you have the sound of a crackling fire or the sound of snoring dogs, both of those reduce micro awakenings.
Oh, wow.
Fire would have scared away predators and the dogs would have been an early warning system.
Oh, amazing. So I read the same thing with Johan Hari's book, which is fantastic. Was it Lost Connections? Is that the right one? And it says the same thing. Evolutionary wise, we're designed to sleep with others because that creates a sense of safety against predators. So when people come to me and they have insomnia, they have depression, the first thing I ask is, what are your connections like? What is your relationships like with other people? And they convince themselves they don't want a relationship. But I do understand. There's a part of me, and
I think that happens with a lot of INTPs there.
What?
They be suffering because they don't have really connections to people, right?
ENTPs?
No, INTPs.
INTPs? Oh.
Yeah, because they think so logically, and a lot of the men, they don't have a partner or something, and they really benefit from having another human to touch and be around and FE with, it's very important to them. I've seen that from my own partner. She's a lot happier now, I'll tell you that much. Super happy.
I've spoken about this a little bit when I was speaking to my clients. I can understand why the lazy kind of man that feels undesirable is avoiding relationships.
Talking about desirability, that's any.
Because there's a lot of effort for very little return, when the alternative is I can either watch pornography or I can hire an escort. Again, little effort and a maximum return. So I get, from a logical point of view, if I'm going to spend hundreds of pounds on a date and she might not even sleep with me, I could spend half of that on an escort, and she definitely will. But the goal of life is not to get sex, it's to get connection.
And that's what they're trying to skip, unfortunately.
Have you reflected on the?
I think that's what the motherfucker got me with all this connection shit.
Yeah, it
Rise.
is. Yeah, she always talking about relationships and connection, all that shit.
Yeah, like it really sounded
NF.
Of escorts and sex work. I think it's pretty fascinating to look at the psychology of the women who do it and the men who pay for it.
Yeah. Well, the women who do it usually, and I think it's probably less now, but there's a big history of childhood sexual abuse. And the reason why child abuse often then becomes monetized sex work is because when we are violated as a child, men or women, when something is violated from us, the only way your ego kind of makes sense of what happens to you is to minimize the importance and significance of what was stolen from you. So if I was abused sexually, if I then minimize the importance of sex and then take some control by monetizing it and saying, I'm now in control of my body, I'm either going to be hyper promiscuous or I'm going to monetize it. What it does is minimizes the significance of sex, and therefore I don't have to deal with the trauma I experienced. I now see sex as just an activity, and therefore if I was abused, it's not that serious. And so the psychology of them is usually coming from a broken place. And also the other thing that they struggle with is knowing what loyalty looks like in a relationship. They don't see it as an essential component because they've monetized sex and taken away the emotion element to it. So it becomes very difficult for them to be sexually loyal to their partner. It's almost like they see sex as a bit as an activity, and if they do it with somebody else, why would that bother you? They don't understand the process, so they end up being quite emotional.
They don't understand the process.
They don't understand the process.
Yeah,
progression
process type.
Very transactional with their partners, and the relationships become the relationships don't really last very long. Unfortunately, they're void of emotions, and then it translates into their parenting as well.
What about the psychology of the men who pay for it?
The psychology of the man that actually goes towards it is usually he's somebody who's highly avoidant to begin with. There was some emotional disconnect in their parents, in their household. So when you want to court a beautiful woman in the real world, she requires some emotional connection first and foremost, or at least at some point. Now, if you find it hard to experience emotional connection and you have the money to go from pornography to escorts, you skip the emotional component and go straight to escorts. Basically, escorts are porn addicts with money. Yeah, essentially, that is for them. And that low self-esteem, that's intense low self-esteem with the men that pay for escorts means that they don't believe they can access a woman of that caliber in real life. So let me at least pay in for it, and therefore I don't have to experience rejection. The reason why
I don't think that's always true there. I think a lot of times, what's really going on is if you deal with a certain amount of women, there's a chance of you having a certain type of allegation, and if you deal with an escort, there's no chance of any allegation. You can have your fun and you move on and you go back to your regular life, and you'll see that same system play out with a lot of billionaires. Like they don't want the allegations. They don't want they don't want somebody to sue them. They don't want all of that. They just want to have fun and get the male psychology, I'm just, having sex and then go about their life and keep doing what the fuck they're doing. So I don't agree with that. But I do think she's got something there. I mean, there's something there, but I think a lot of people with a lot of money, they're actually doing it to get away from allegations and all of that while still being able to have access to it.
Emotional kind of disconnect is so important for the customer is a man that understands emotional intelligence and understands a woman's emotions wouldn't feel comfortable having sex with a woman he knows doesn't want to be there. A guy that normally has emotional intelligence will think, oh God, she's probably not enjoying this, and oh God, what trauma led her to get here? I don't want to have sex with somebody who doesn't want to have sex with me. But the man who skipped that emotional intelligence and just wants pleasure will not even think about the emotional trauma that got her to this position and just think, as long as she pleases me, I don't really care what it took to get her here. So that
I don't know if I fucking agree with that. I feel like she didn't jump off the cliff for me on that last little point there. I don't agree with that shit there. That's like some next level shit. I do not agree with that shit.
Emotional disconnect in both of them, which is why they often fall in love with each other.
You say, Zara?
No, I was about to say it's like they're project. She's like projecting the fact that these women have to be emotionally traumatized or something to end up there. Like,
Well, the guy's got to be like some like
some
recording
sadistic asshole.
asshole, sadistic, doesn't give a fuck about
Yeah.
like,
But
and
it's also
it don't
like
work like that.
it's also like it's like victimhood for like the escort. Like like it's presuming that they were victims in some way. It sounds a little bit far-fetched.
Yeah,
All of them.
I'm not.
Some people have choice, you know.
I
There
don't.
is free will, some variability or some free will there.
Yeah, I'm not agreeing with that.
Fall in love. Yeah, they often do
I think
end up
there's a
together.
little
And
bit of
this is what
choice.
I really hate about the narrative that they tell you that on these red pill podcasts, that men want virgins, men want good girls. The amount of successful men that fall in love with the escorts is because they allow him to not emotionally connect, but then still boost his ego, which is what his a dream come true. Whereas another woman requires that emotional connection before she can boost your ego. So the escort is just providing him with an ego boost with bearing in mind his emotional disabilities.
Disagree again. I think that's wrong. I think what really goes on with escorts and why they're able to attract certain men is because they maximize sex. Like they have they if you watch if you read Robert Greene, they are the sirens and that type of thing. And that can pull men from they can be fucking Mark Anthony down to just being a fucking dog. And they have maximized sex. Certain women just have that ability to just pull it straight out of a man, and that's usually going to be your escorts because that's the ability they have. People cash in on their abilities. That's how this world works.
Well, I think I don't know the exact psychology around it, but my working theory is because, like, you know, she does have a point that a lot of men will say, "Oh, like I want a virgin," or "I want like a traditional woman," and all this shit. But then, yeah, you might see them with an escort. You might see them getting attracted to a woman who's highly sexual. My working theory is it's different parts of the brain. It's not that men are lying, but it's like their rational part of the brain says they want one thing, but once they find like a woman who's highly sexualized, that it's a different part of the brain.
Yeah.
You know, they're operating on their reptile brains. Like they're, you know, once they're sexually engaged, it's like all that rational shit goes out the window.
Out the window. Yeah.
Yeah,
It
like
brings
Mark Anthony, any of these men who, like, you know, Johnny Depp with Amber Heard, like, you know, there's sure I'll let her ruin my life. Who cares? You know.
Yeah, and they just
it
pull it
brings out
right out of
a
you.
primal it brings out a primal essence. With like, yeah, logically you don't want someone that's with a lot of people, but like but these sort of seductive types will draw you in by their allure.
Yeah.
So it's more instinctual.
Yeah.
Is the point.
And to be honest, a lot of times they don't even have to be super attractive.
They
They
don't
just
know.
have to know how to navigate that world of energy and sex, and bam, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, oh shit, like, you know, even I mean, Cleopatra even had fucking Julius Caesar
Yeah.
tweaking, you know, and you talking about Julius motherfucking Caesar, and then she like literally had Mark Anthony like a
She
naked
had him
dog.
wrapped around her finger.
Like Mark Anthony basically crashed out for boom. You know, he could have been the next emperor who changed the you know the written in history, and he crashed out over some poon. So like, I don't agree with that. I just know that certain women just know how to do it, man. They know how to do it. And that's usually going to be your escorts because a lot of times they have the experience. Like they have the experience. They've done it a lot, you know.
And it's probably ESFPs and INTJs and ISFPs.
Yeah. Pull it right out of you.
It's interesting. I noticed.
Is it? Can I ask? Is it big in America as well? Because it's huge where I live.
Haven't seen it. I mean, Dubai, I think, is a very particular petri dish of like unique dating. Maybe Miami. I mean, in fact, I would almost be certain
and
with
London
Miami.
London is getting there as well. It's getting it's just as rampant in London as well.
I'm noticing that you were in all of these locations. If you moved to Miami too, you would be the common denominator.
Maybe I'm the
them.
problem. Maybe I bring the heat.
So I noticed when I was at uni and I was running a lot of nightclubs, and we would go. The only place that's open after 3 a.m. are the strip clubs, right? So we would go to the strip clubs, and we'd know all of the girls because most of the girls would come out to one of our events on an evening time or whatever. And I noticed a lot of the girls were struggling. They would struggle to see men as like not genuine humans, but because their job required them to see men as resources to be extracted from. Like anyone that's ever been to a proper working class strip club, right? There's still, you know, like girls in there. I'm not derogating the quality of the women. I'm talking about the kind of culture that comes through. They are fucking ruthless with how they take money from men. Like they're sitting on their lap. It's almost like a sales funnel. They understand the tricks that they can use to get a man to go for a dance, to get a man to stay with you, and so on and so forth. They entered the game, like the arena of play is, and if they've had too much to drink or they've done whatever, like probably shouldn't have gone to the strip club with your credit card if that's the case. But what happened on the other side of that, I noticed that a lot of the girls struggled to make an emotional connection with guys in their personal life. And I think that trying to separate out, this is someone that I'm supposed to have a genuine connection with, and this is someone that I'm supposed to have a transactional connection with. These two, it doesn't surprise me that you can't. These are going to bleed into each other, and the same has to be true with OnlyFans.
What happens with OnlyFans and strippers and sex workers in general, the pool of women that they're left with are men they don't respect. The reality is women respect men with masculinity, alpha, protectiveness, providing, etc. Now, when you go into sex work, you are left with, firstly, your customers are incredibly low self-esteem, incredibly naive to even believe that you're going to be loyal to them. And even if he's not your customer and he's your boyfriend, but he accepts your sex work, a part of you doesn't see him as powerful and a provider and doesn't see him as protective. Because if he was truly protective, he wouldn't be with you. If he was a man that genuinely was an alpha man and wanted a good woman, he wouldn't be with you. So the type of men they truly respect wouldn't be with them. So the only men they definitely can't fall in love with the guy that is giving them money. The closest thing they get to that is the pimp that's taking money from them, because at least then they kind of respect the fact that he's using her in a way. But to be manipulated by her, she feels more powerful than him and therefore can't respect him.
I wonder how many girls in strip clubs get into relationships with the bouncers and the door staff and the manager and stuff like that.
They end up they're just more likely to be with a man that they provide for than a one that provides for them. Because a man that provides for a stripper, there's a stupidity in that. Because you know this woman's transactional and yet you're giving her money, she can't respect you. But the man she has to pay for, whether he's like a bouncer that's on half her wage or he's just a personal trainer that she has to cover the rent for, she's more likely to fall in love with him because at least he's not stupid enough to financially invest in me. And a part of her unconsciously respects him more than the CEO that's going to buy you a house and a Range Rover because she's like, you're so stupid.
What have you come to reflect?
I think that there's more there. I think there's archetypes, and certain archetypes are able to influence women certain ways. I think. And I think your typical like CEO type guy, maybe ESTJ, he doesn't have the pull that, some of those other male types are gonna have, your ENTPs and your ESTPs. I don't think he's gonna have that type of energy with women, I don't think so. And I think that's what's really going on there. I'm done with this woman, man. See, she's pragmatic. We know, drug dealer here. So her being pragmatic would eliminate the SJs, right? And then she's also progression. So yeah. Sometimes, you get it wrong and you got to go back to the drawing board and you got to get everything. You got to get it right, and you got to, it's like chess, You play chess, you can only get better when you analyze your fucking fuck ups. If you always win or you always do it perfectly, you will learn barely anything. So this woman's an
You learn more from your losses and you
so
fall
much
forward.
more. Yeah, so much more. Okay, so
when we initially did look at her, I think we mainly thought she was informing and progression, but we kind of just got tripped up on other things.
yeah, I think the motive, she's hitting on that psychological perspective kind of throws you here.
I think NE looks more into consequential awareness, so it's very interest-like.
That's what I said earlier. It's very interest.
Yeah, so I think they're more interested in a lot of the SPs. to be
They
honest.
just understand. That's why they're con artists, bro. That's
Yeah,
why they're the best con artists. Uh,
yeah.
it is what it is. What are we thinking here, guys, on subtype here?
Well, what about Enneagram?
Enneagram.
Fucking tricky as hell. She's a
Uh,
fuck pathological liar, con artist. I
Biological
don't know.
lawyer, con artist.
3? I don't know,
I think
man.
three, man. I think
It's
I'm.
what
I think,
He,
the social subtype,
yeah,
the pathological liar.
yeah, I think she's
I
a.
don't know.
Kind of like Hogan. Isn't that what we
Yeah,
had? Isn't that what
Well,
we
yeah,
had
yeah,
Hogan?
yeah. You remember
yeah.
Hogan, big ass. Like I think she's probably. Yeah, I think three. I think 3W2. Maybe, yeah, 3W2. Not
Okay.
Mm,
because she's
yeah.
the people and like helping people and all that type of thing. She's not kind of. I mean, she does do that, but she seems to be in service of people. Uh,
Yeah.
so I think 3W2 SO / sexual. Um, and
Subtype.
Subtype's gonna kill me.
It's subtype. I'd say definitely part normalizing.
is it
Mm,
CN?
You think creative normalizing?
Ooh.
Either that or NC. Maybe. Because
NC?
I'm not seeing dominant, not really seeing I mean, I don't know.
the harmonizing, I was getting that a little, but I don't think that's her core self. I think that's what she's projecting.
So
I think it's more normalizing. Yeah, yeah, I think you got it right, Tom.
she might mainly she has like a mask of being harmonizing. I get is
Mm-hmm.
I think how I would put it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
don't not sure that that's who she really is though.
Yeah. I think
Um,
yeah.
NC. Because she can damn sure put off like the holier than thou with the
oh
normalizing
yeah,
like that. I am a normalizing. I'm studious, um, you know that type of thing. But then she got that C behind it. Let me be creative because I know I can manipulate all these degrees. I know motherfuckers ain't really checking it, and
yeah,
she
for
probably would have
real.
got away if she wasn't so fucking nasty.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
She
yeah.
wasn't so
She
fucking nasty. She
she
would have
went
got
after,
away.
yeah, but she went after that guy, and then it just
That's what I'm
escalated from
saying.
there.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
She could have got away with it
never
if she
attacked
just kept
anybody,
her mouth shut.
if she never attacked anybody and she didn't, but she's always flaming people up in the comments. And guess what, bro? Nowadays, you live in 2025, people are gonna start investigating shit. You never want to get too much
Yeah.
traction because then they start investigating shit, and then they find something you did wrong, and then that's your ass. What do you guys think about
Yeah.
demigod level?
Uh,
Uh, I mean,
Above average?
I would have to be honest, above average for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
yeah,
I'd say at least above average.
I
yeah,
don't think she's prodigy, but I think she's definitely above average.
yeah,
But I think her development's good. She's just
yeah.
She just
she's a piece of shit. She has poor
she
integrity.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
It doesn't make her she's still a piece of shit, but
yeah.
above average in development.
I mean, she's. I mean, a lot of things she says and this is what happens with a lot of ENTPs. A lot of things they say have truth enveloped into it, but then you gotta like piece off the bullshit. It's like it comes to you in a ball, and then maybe like 45% of it is the truth. So then you have to extract the truth behind it and then dismiss all of the other bullshit. Or maybe they'll say something and then there's truth to it, so you have to dig deeper into it to actually get the full context and then actually put it together. Um, that's what I see with a lot of them, especially when I'm watching the content or anything like that. That that's what I get. Because there's like when she was talking about the all this other stuff, like yeah, there's some truth there, but that's not all of it. It's not all of it. There's more there. But she has zero respect for TE, right? Faking
mhm.
Mm,
degrees, all this other shit, posting the shit online. Like you have zero respect for TE and what it takes to get, TE or SI. I guess TESI, right? You say TESI? I would say TESI.
YSI.
Because, you gotta go through the 6, 8, 10, 12 years to get those degrees. So
Oh,
SI,
true.
that's
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I think and ENTPs really don't really respect SI in general. They don't.
Well, and seeing things through. I mean, how many of them actually see shit through?
Yeah. So
Um, it to me it's surprising like how much of her shit is actually on point though, and like how she is very intelligent.
well, I think ENTPs are very intelligent and they realize
They are, yeah,
that you don't need all those degrees. And I think it is true. Like a lot of times you don't need all those degrees. But for the system's always going to put those first. But if you just tell people, hey, I don't have the degrees, and if your message is good enough, people will come. I promise you that. People will come if your message is good enough. So I don't
yeah,
think she had to do all of that. Uh,
uh-huh,
Yeah,
but
she's definitely an autodidact. I'm not saying she isn't,
I think she's
but
opened
yeah,
herself up to be sued. Um,
yeah.
yeah,
it's I don't know if she's gonna be able to recover from this. How will she recover? Like who's gonna want her on their podcast? And
yeah.
at this point,
No,
like other than to just talk about the controversy.
Like
Um,
I think she's definitely gonna get sued based on this shit, that
unless she pays people to go on their platform. But at this
yeah,
point, I think her reputation's sullied.
yeah,
uh-huh.
like she's most likely I think for her future is gonna be quite dark, but gotta say she created
I
this
knew that was
herself.
gonna happen. Well, I said that shit the moment it happened, and you're like, "Yeah, she'll be fine." I'm like, I don't think so.
I thought she'd be fine. I didn't think, but this is before like they start pulling out the degrees and shit.
Yeah,
When you sent
I
me the
know.
first clip, it was like Sadia Khan wearing a waist trainer or some shit like that, and like yelling
Like
at.
it was a waste filter.
It was a waist filter and like yelling at people and saying I'll suck your dick. I'm like, okay, cool. Like she'll be all right.
Yeah, but I still think that sullies her rep. Like it's still bad because she's promoting like this high value woman, high value man
Well,
content, and
yeah, she sold purity. She sold
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, that's correct.
I'm like a
Have
perfectly good moral person. I'm a high value woman. All this shit, and she's not.
No, yeah.
she's acted like she had some high ground, and
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and then she's the complete hypocrite, and then she made it worse for herself,
yeah.
and then people started and then people really dug her grave.
Like she's cracked.
Uh-huh.
She's going bad now. I
I
mean,
mean, there were a few arrows casted her way, but then they started digging her grave,
right. Ooh. Now it's kind of bad.
and that's what you get for attack accosting people, and it led to her decline.
I
Yeah.
just think
She,
she could have handled that totally different, and none of this shit would have came up.
and,
What it precipitated
Just
if she
just
didn't
shut your
start attacking everyone.
just shut your fucking mouth. Do your own thing. Chill out.
Stay
Don't
in your
be.
lane, stay focused on your path, and just
Yeah.
don't let everyone disrupt your flow.
And you don't have to attack people based off what they say. Most of the time, when you get a comment, most of the time it's a fucking loser. Why are you
Yeah, it's just
entertaining
some
yeah.
them?
guy on a private account. Like, why are you attacking them? It looks corny,
It
and
is wasting your time.
it doesn't fit her image. Like when
The way
she's on
it's
these
wasting
podcasts,
time.
she comes off holier than thou,
Hmm.
seems very measured in her speech, and then she does that shit. It's what it's wild.
Yeah,
And for someone who talks about consequences as much as she does, she completely
it's
didn't have the
unaware.
consequential awareness when it came to all that shit. So
And I've been thinking about that for a while, Thomas, and I've come to this conclusion is that any DOMs are aware of other people's consequences,
yeah,
not aware of the consequences for themselves.
yeah. They're
They're not aware of the consequences for themselves. So that's the only thing I could come up with for like how they can just be so fucking blind. They can be so fucking blind to it. Um, You're like,
I
yeah,
think it's low consequential awareness for other. They're high in consequential awareness for others, but for
yeah.
themselves, it's very optimistic.
well, they
They,
can get through anything.
yeah, yeah.
But that's what I said. Like they have no consequential awareness for themselves. Like zero.
It's like pretend SE.
I mean, and I've had Kyle, and Kyle's told me it's like, yeah, bro, I see the consequences, but bro, I just don't care. He's like I just don't. He's like I just think like it's gonna work, like, or like like I see them and I plan for them, but then like I just think what I'm gonna do is gonna work, and I'm like,
I
bro,
think it's the chasing the novelty. They need the novelty. They need the stress because
like
they like the
regardless of
lack
the
of
fact that
control.
regardless of anything, they have to do it. They have to do it because it
They
has to
want to
be something
control the
new.
chaos.
They it has to be something new. They want to be embedded in the chaos.
Yeah, they don't want just stability.
No,
That's too boring, and it's
lackluster.
just logorrhea to them. It's like yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like wondering, like, how do certain types date? You like, if you're an INTJ, like, I don't know how the fuck you date an ENTP.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't think
unless
it
you're
would
a
work.
woman, because being a woman, you kind of get a little bit more control over them. But the other way around, like, if
Yeah.
you're an INTJ male and like you're with an ENTP woman and she wants to do all this novelty shit, and you really don't want to do all that novelty shit, how the hell that's gonna work?
I
Like,
mean, yeah, I wouldn't. Not really.
that's
Not if
too
it were up to
much.
me.
Like, it's too
Yeah, I don't
much.
want to go out that much. Jeez,
Like,
I'm good for going out to go golfing. That's it. I don't really want to. I don't need to do a bunch of things, and I
yeah.
don't need chaos.
Like it's draining. Quite draining. Like, so I don't know how that fucking works. But guys, we'll catch you guys on another one. I did get Sadia Khan wrong the first time. The holier than thou. She tricked the shit out of me, man. So
Uh-huh.
um
We got conned.
we got Khan. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next one.